when you start walking the path of personal development and truly trying to bring upon the best of yourself, you're going to experience what I call threshold moments. These are moments where you're really feeling the fruits of your labor, and it's so bizarre how it happens. It comes over you in this almost emotionally neutral, content, and self-assured, almost knowing way. It's so crazy. It's as if you literally stepped into the next iteration of yourself, as if you stepped into the next iteration of your psyche. And you're doing it through this deliberate process that you would never be able to pinpoint what these threshold moments are. I've never known one is coming before it comes. I've never anticipated it or expected it. It just happens after something that you've done. And today I had one of those threshold moments, one of those achievements. I accomplished something and immediately felt like I just entered the next evolution of myself, the next iteration of Hunter. And it's a cool feeling because each time that happens, as you're aspiring for more and more, your floor elevates. And when your floor elevates, I'm thoroughly convinced there's no better feeling. When you tangibly recognize, this is how far I'll let myself fall instead of this far, and before it was this far and this far, right? It's constantly redefining what rock bottom is. And I truly think you have to get to a real rock bottom in order to know how to build up from it. I've been more than once. I've been probably 3 to 4 significant times in my adult life at a version of rock bottom. And I've experienced these threshold moments more times than I can count, but only recently was I able to have the presence and awareness to recognize them for what they are and what was happening in real time. I would say the easiest way to identify a threshold moment for yourself is within an identity shift, you are working toward this aligned outcome. And it feels like this harmonious walk with divinity while making a real transformation. It really allows you to just step into more of yourself and smile. There are some dangers. These threshold moments can be potentially damaging. They can actually set you back. And I know that I've done this through mistakes in the past where you hit a threshold moment and you get cocky. You're like, yeah, I can do it now. Awesome. And the divine will always find a way to humble you quickly. Another danger is not recognizing or downplaying a threshold moment. Brushing it off as just it's nothing. It's just another day. It's another thing. When you have those breakthroughs and you feel them, be proud of them. Be present in them. Be aware in them. Be fully conscious of them because they will propel you forward substantially when you do. The third leg of that triangle is over-identification with the threshold moment. Just like we can't let our failures define our identity, we also can't let our successes. Our identity has to remain a separate party from our success and failure, and we have to experience them as things that we do, not things that we are. Because you cannot let your life outlook or your self outlook be predicated on what you accomplish versus what you don't. So whenever you have those threshold moments happen, take a breath in them. Recognize that the same way you feel toward undesirable things and failures, you have to maintain some sense of emotional neutrality. But I think the hard part about that emotional neutrality is that advice seems to get turned into be a robot. It's not be a robot. It's feel the emotion, but don't identify with the emotion. That's emotional neutrality. It's not, I feel sad, therefore I'm a sad person, or I'm emotionally neutral and something sad happens and I just go cold and shut off completely. That's inherently more dangerous. But true emotional neutrality is something sad happens. I feel sad about it, but I don't over identify with that sadness, with that emotion. And in the same way, I'd over identify with those threshold moments. When something amazing happens, when something that I've worked toward pays off, it is not who I am. It is something I get to experience, and it is something that I get to integrate. I get to feel the joy, I get to feel the satisfaction and the pride, but I do not over identify with it. And keeping that distinction allows you to really get the most out of these threshold moments. And it happens as a byproduct of aiming upward. It's it's like the secondary booster on a rocket. A spaceship goes to space and you have the initial boosters and they fall off. That's your purpose driven motivation, your I don't like how I look in the mirror motivation, the I don't feel the way that I need to feel, that initial activation energy. That's those first rockets, right? But when those fall off, these threshold moments become that secondary boost that allows you to continue into orbit and to continue to reach your destination. They can be, in a sense, optimized. And I hesitate to use that word because we're not looking to get everything out of it, but we can feel more of it. We can experience more of these moments and hold them in a way that allows us to really propel forward. If you're having a hard time getting to that point or feeling like you don't know where the trajectory is for you, I would recommend prayer and genuine aspiration first. It doesn't matter who you pray to. And if you're having a hard time connecting with divinity, it's not that it doesn't exist. It's that the internal resistances that you have to it are preventing you from connecting. And that might be because you're trying to identify it in one box. Divinity is divinity. And I understand that so many different religions and cultures call it so many different things, but if you're having a hard time connecting to it, just talk to the divine, talk to the universe, talk to the air. Just talk. Start to feel reciprocity build. You can't expect a mountain to be moved in a day, but you can expect at least to move a pebble first. And allow yourself to build and formulate that relationship with divinity. And it compounds over time. You'll have this push and pull of real connection. And you'll feel it happen in your life, and then you'll feel what you have to do in order to make more of it happen. And I think if you can orient yourself towards something, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be the big life goal. It doesn't have to be your magnum opus. It can just be something to get the ball rolling. And that something to get the ball rolling, it leads to your magnum opus down the road. So don't be afraid to take that first step. And like I said, whatever that looks like for you, it'll come to you naturally. But open yourself up to the universe, and it'll open itself up to you. Walk through these threshold moments with presence and awareness, and you'll feel more of them and more strength from each of them. As always, thank you, and I look forward to hearing what you have to think, and look forward to seeing you in the next one.